for us, you know, we're kind of lucky that a lot of the things that we tear out, you know, are reused. So, you know, like we haul off a lot of debris, organic matter, which is chipped up and turned into compost. We recycle almost everything that we, you know, take off of a job site. We also really encourage people to plant edible plants, native plants. We do a lot of rain gardens, so, you know, they're using the water from the roof, they're putting it in the ground, so they're using less water from the city. There's, you know, if you're growing food at home, I mean, there's no packaging. There's no, and I realize a lot of you may not live in a house or have a place where you can garden, so I get that. But there's a lot of ways that I think just by the nature of what we encourage people to do. There's a great book called Deep Economy by Bill McKibben, and he talks a lot about a pro-growth economy. And I think that's kind of one of the main issues we have is a system that's just based on growth. And that's a Republican and a Democratic idea. And so everybody's trying to create jobs. And so, you know, my kind of long-term question, which I'm sure I'll never answer by the time I'm done being alive in this body, is like, how do you shift our economic system so that it's not just about everybody has a job, so everybody's happy. You have these kind of wild swings in the market. So I think that's kind of definitely like an economics question as well.
Have you found good resources for kind of consumer behavior and what tactics are being explored to try and convince people to consume less?
No, but if you have a couple of things in mind.
Well, I've seen a lot of press coverage of it lately, and one of the ones to look into is called CBSM, which is what does it stand for? Community-based social marketing, and there's one of the kind of key professors in that field who's based in northeast Canada. It's going to be in Portland in early November, and his name is Doug Mackenzie Moore. So, and there's a website and a community, a web community that has lots of great information from around the world of people trying to either, you know, encourage water conservation or waste prevention like you discussed, or energy conservation. It's a pretty strong community.
Another good resource might be the Zero Waste Alliance.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great book called Cradle to Cradle, too. Talks a lot about things that are, you know, instead of A to B, it goes A to B and back to A. So, kind of like as far as
Don't watch TV.
That's incredibly important. Actually, no, seriously.
Yeah.
Just don't, if you watch TV, turn it off and get it out of the house for at least a month or two. That's one of the best things that ever happened to me. I lost 30 pounds. Seriously. I swear by it. Don't watch TV. You'll have free time. You'll have things that you'll be able to do things.
I have a couple other ones. A good book is called Fostering Sustainable Behavior. Have you heard of that one yet? That's a really good book. They talk a lot about what are the things that make people change. And one thing they found is pledging. If people pledge, they're much more likely to do another action later because they associate it with their values. So that's one thing we've done, and we're doing a big campus sustainability pledge this year with all kinds of different actions, and some of them are about reuse. And then The Story of Stuff is a really good, very short film. Yeah. And I show that to people all the time. It's 20 minutes, and it goes through the whole cycle of consumption. And I think another issue is we kind of have to get away from sustainability just being about the environment and see it more as issues with our society and like how we treat other people and how we're pretty separated from the people who produce the things that we use. And when you add in that human element, I think you really appeal to a lot more people. So those are 3 things that I've learned.
Thank you.
Can I find out about the pledge thing you're doing on Portland?
Sure. If you want to, you can go to, it's pdx.edu/studentaffairs/pledge. And you can take that.
I think there was a question.
Yeah, I have a question. Heather, maybe this is for you, but there's no such thing as a degree in sustainability. So as I'm a student and I'm trying to prepare for entering the nonprofit sector potentially, and definitely in some sort of sustainability, what coursework is recommended for that?
Yeah, it's true that there's no sustainability major at PSU. There's a graduate certificate in sustainability that you can take. I think it's about a year long, and I'm considering taking that as well now. And that's offered through, I can't remember the department actually. But a lot of people who are going towards a sustainability career are taking classes in the community development major, the environmental sciences, urban planning, transportation, and I guess maybe just kind of in the liberal studies area as well. That's what I'm finding a lot about. Did that answer your question, or was there more to it? Some maybe things to kind of add to your course list?
Well, yeah, I met with someone in the Career Center, and yeah, they kind of recommended community development, public health, especially for food justice type ideas, economics,
Yeah.
political science. I mean, are those?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the sociology classes also tie into sustainability. There's a good class called globalization, and the person who wrote that is working a lot with social sustainability. Her name is Veronica Dujon. She's really great. And then you were talking about permaculture. We offer a permaculture degree here, or not degree, but a certificate, a course. And it's taught by one of the big names in permaculture. And I mean, permaculture is just kind of a philosophy, a lot like sustainability, of closing the loop on processes and seeing connections. It's really fun, and I recommend that with permaculture.
It's a design template that you can kind of overlay onto anything, whether you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your career or how you're going to design your house. I think it's definitely very lefty and really hippie here in the U.S., which I'm at heart in some ways really in tune with that, but I'm also come from a conservative Christian background, so I'm a little more mainstream in some ways. So I think it's a great, if you're looking for a way just to pique your interest about everything, it's a great way to help you articulate, like, how do all these things connect together. And I think the natural step is another great, there's all these different kind of thought processes that are really similar. And I think any topic really is related to, I think for me, I'm really into macroeconomics and global economic systems and how that affects people around the world, and how that's really involved with like our food, industrial food system and trade policies, and so you can kind of look at anything. You can look at political science. You can look at or maybe like urban planning is great if you want to look at like how cities are built, or particularly like within my field of like construction. How does that work? You can kind of like pick things that you like in general, and then just do some basic research online, and I think you'll be able to start figuring out, it all kind of ties together. You kind of need to know about a little bit of everything. That's the kind of thing. Like,
That's very true, and I think one of the challenges of a sustainability manager or a coordinator, someone who works in that field, is taking these broad-reaching ideas from the natural step or from permaculture and translating that into something that folks understand. What does sustainability mean in my office building, or in my life, or in my office space? So you have to translate that so that you can move your particular organization's initiatives forward. They have to kind of understand that. And so you might be explaining it to an administrative assistant, which requires a certain set of skills, or a business executive, which requires another set of skills that might be more with business-oriented skills from economics. You might be explaining it to an energy manager, which probably by now, maybe not, but you might find yourself in that position. So you might need to talk about HVAC systems or something like that, but not in depth, but having some type of knowledge that helps you communicate that strategy.
How many people know the natural step? Some. I think, we all agree, like, you guys should really look into that. It's ORTNS, Oregon, thenaturalstep.org. The training is wonderful. It's a one-day training for the basic course, and it's really not that expensive. I want to say it's maybe $125, and it just gives you a remarkable framework for how to think about sustainability and talk about the interaction of these different systems.